Hello, just a short video to look at the new, a bit scary, artificial intelligence or machine learning driven orthodontic office and the future. The main idea is to look at it in a different way. How can data mining and processing can help the busy orthodontist into getting into a more successful or more enjoyable practice using these tools. Again, I repeat, this is not designed to replace the orthodontist, and I will explain you why in a second. So if you look at the modern clinical, modern office at the moment, offering services, so people will do reviews, they will call your office, either from the web or from a reference or family. Then the receptionist will take the information, so it takes about 15 minutes to book the appointment. Then patient comes to your office for a consultation. They kind of know already what they want, so then you will gather some information from the patient. Many times it will be a second opinion, mind you. And then you will decide from the consultation, give a very preliminary opinion of what you think should be done, and the patient will hopefully go into booking appointments. And all this is basically either paperwork or entered via an iPad or something. And then you get the records. Some people will say we take records and immediately, because you know what to do, you have what we call a same-day treatment, which I don't agree with, because you never know and you may have forgotten something that you may discover at a later date using the x-rays and STLs and things. So you get an iOS, because that's standard of care now, some good photos, you get some radiographs, either 2D or 3D, and you'll make your treatment notes. So that's pretty much standard. Then the patient comes home and you will get a treatment plan, and the patient comes again, as we call it, either for a case presentation, and eventually agrees to either aligners, some growth modification, some conventional orthodontic appliances, and all is good. So the biggest problem you can see here, and then you have patient number 1 to patient number, 10,000, doesn't really matter. And the problem is there is no interactive database, which is for a normal clinic maybe okay, because your records are just there to really allow you to continue monitoring your patient as long as he or she comes, and when you finish treatment, you set your records away and you're done. So that's the non-AI driven practice. So what's the difference with the AI driven practice now? AI, machine learning, call it the way you want. A lot of orthodontics is through machine learning, by the way, but that's fine. Let's look at, so the patient, first of all, finds you through the iPhone. As you all know, this is the new thing now. So the patient is here, may or may not call your office, goes to your app, which automatically asks questions, but it's just not and the big advantage too is these questions, you can use Google AMI, which is MAEI if you're interested. That's a very interesting system of questions. It's not just a bot. It's different from a bot in the sense that this program will ask questions, and depending on the answer of the potential patient to question 1, there'll be different questions. And the big advantage also is all the data is stored immediately into the database, and it's filled into this patient's chart, which is a virtual chart. So if the patient never comes in, you may be able to delete this chart after a couple of years. So then immediately you will have a consultation that is more geared to the patient that is calling, either an adult or a child or TMJ patient, whatever it's going to be. So this will be adjusted, and all the notes before the patient comes in are already available to the doctor or to the treatment manager, whoever is going to be in charge. So this is immediately available. So you save all this time. The patient has only done one visit, and you've saved all the consultation, building of the medical records. It's all done online. Then you do the same thing. Obviously, the consult, you can immediately book. The patient can have information, so you save another visit. At the same visit, you can do those records, which are the same, the iOS, the photos, the treatment notes, and the x-rays, but in a different way, which is called an API. Okay, an API is a program, system of a program, I should say, where all this software talk to each other and immediately create the virtual patient. This virtual patient gets into an SQL data set, could be anything, but this is the data, okay? And this data is processed, and you have all sorts of interesting things, such automatic recognition of malocclusion, crowding. You get the preliminary observation that the patient has presented from the iOS and the photos, because they interact with each other. They're not separate. And you get immediately also a preliminary diagnosis that saves you time. And you also can get, patients that look about the same as the way you treated them, or anything you want. And then what happens is you can then create a treatment plan or treatment plans, virtual treatment plans you can present to the patients, which are AI supported in the sense that they are data-based. You can say, well, I remember this case from someone else, let me see what I've done. All this is feasible. It does not replace the orthodontist. That's why I call the A assisted. Basically, what it does, it gives you a massive amount of data that is specifically geared towards the particular patient, not just a generic thing. It's absolutely done with the patient, and you can get a much better diagnosis. It's obvious that the orthodontist at the end of the day is responsible, and then you start treatment, either bonding, as I said, all AI assisted, in the sense that then you can do constant refinement, we call this, with using, again, an iOS every 3 or 4 months, or whatever it's going to be, to see if your treatment is progressing correctly. The AI will look at your treatment planning, and if it deviates from what you are planning to do, it may bring you into a small alarm or warning, and then you can decide to, change course of treatment. Again, this is assisted, so the same thing. But the big interest too for your practice is then everything you do is databased. So this patient now becomes part of your great group of patients, and you can really use these patients to get the best possible outcome of your practice, and you can analyze, you can look at, and you can get reports. It's obvious that you don't want to suffer from over data, we call it, when you have too much data. So the AI supposedly, and it's a new project, should be able to give you the most important aspect of the treatment progress of this patient without getting into a massive amount of reports that you will not have time to read. So that's the new way, or the newer way, I should say, to approach AI-assisted patient management. Is it going to happen tomorrow? I don't think so, but there are a lot of companies working on this particular API right here that I talked about that will integrate. At the moment, we have very little integration, and that's unfortunate because you are wasting a lot of data by just having everything in different drawers of data, like iOS photos, treatment notes, x-rays. You don't remember what the patient said 6 months ago. All this can be revisited with an AI data set very quickly. Take it with a grain of salt. It may not be absolutely the way of the future. There may be some differences in the way it's going to be approached, but this is basically what a lot of electronic medical records are going towards, which is better control and better data mining. Thank you.